You've been lied to about energy. Everybody always talks about positive thinking, raising your vibration. But what if I told you that your energy is the very thing keeping you broke, stuck, and chasing? Because what nobody has told you yet is that your energy isn't just a tool, it's a weapon. And if you don't know how to use it correctly, it's actually working against you 24/7. My name is Bobbie, and I empower you to love yourself so you can manifest anything. Subscribe if you want, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to shift your energy and watch your reality bend around you. From Neville Goddard to Dr. David Hawkins, everybody talked about state, energy, frequency, but what does it all mean and how does it apply to you and your life, your relationships, your bank account? The truth is, everything you currently have in your life stems from the state which you most dominantly hold throughout the day. What does that mean? Your life is nothing to do with the things that you actually want, the effort that you put in for the things that you want, or even your affirmations. It's all about your state. So, what does that mean? Who are you after you've done your affirmations? Who are you after you've done your journaling? Who are you most dominantly being? What is your baseline? And Dr. David Hawkins went into this when he discovered that every emotion vibrates at a certain frequency. And so you have these lower vibrations, this fear, this shame, this guilt, this apathy. And from that, you will see people in that energy generally don't have the life that they want. However, when you begin to ascend up this frequency scale, you start to see that everything in your reality shifts. And I'll give you an example. Phil Knight is the founder of Nike, and he wrote this book, Shoe Dog, which is an incredible read. I encourage everyone to go and read it or listen to it on Audible. And he said something that made me think of this frequency chart when he said, "We weren't broke, we just had no money." And I had to listen to that over and over and over again because I thought, even though his life at that point may have displayed someone that was living in these lower vibrations of lack and apathy and not having much, if you were to look at his life, internally, he was operating at a much higher frequency of love and joy and optimism because we weren't broke, we just had no money yet. And another thing that he explained was he made $8,000 in the first year of Nike. It wasn't even Nike at that point. And he was like, you know what, we're gonna do $16,000 next year. And his financial advisor or accountant, I can't remember the exact terminology of who it was, said, "You're being too optimistic. That is such a big goal. You cannot possibly have 100% increase in a year." Now, when Phil Knight was faced with these no's and these kind of dismissals of his idea by these supposed professionals, he didn't sink down to these lower vibrations of, "Oh, it's not working out then. I've got to go to Japan. I've got to get these shoes. I've got to keep going and keep trying. It's not working out. I have to go." He even had to go and get another job. Okay, he had to go and get another 9-to-5 job while he was building Nike. But he didn't give up on the vision of Nike because he was operating at these higher frequencies. And so regardless of what he was seeing around him, he stayed true to the vision. And so step one, you might not like this, you need to have full and unconditional ownership of your life and your vision. You know, you have to be really honest with yourself. How many people would have a vision like Phil Knight's of building Nike? And honestly, his vision wasn't even as big as Nike ended up, to be honest. He just wanted better running shoes. How many of us would see no after no after no and continue to operate in these higher frequencies, regardless of what our bank balance said, regardless of what the people around us are saying, regardless of the fact that we had to go and get a 9-to-5 job and make $500 a day, $500 a month? That would have been a very cushy life for a few people, and they would have given up on their goals. Why? Because they're operating from these lower frequencies. Okay, Neville Goddard said, "State is an attitude of mind, a body of beliefs, a set of assumptions that will determine what you experience. This is why if you expect loss, or you feel that fear, or you continue to reside in these lower vibrations, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're still going to be attracting more." And so the first step is taking full and unconditional ownership of where you are. okay? Just because you may have to go back home and live with parents for a while, you may have to go back and get a 9-to-5 job for a while, you may have to do whatever you need to do to get to the next step. As long as you are not losing the vision of what it is that you want for your life, of becoming a musician, of having your own Netflix series, or writing a book, becoming a New York Times bestseller, whatever that vision is, whatever you have to do to get there, you continue staying in these higher frequencies of optimism. Even desire is better than apathy. Even anger is better than fear. But when you are residing in these lower vibrations, you cannot function. You don't do anything. You're just rotting in bed. And so that's the first step, is taking full and unconditional ownership of where you are and where you want to go. Because the thing is that nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you want. Unfortunately, nobody really cares what you've been through. They just want to know how you got through it. Did you get through it? If you got through it. If you didn't get through it, then people really don't give a shit. Like David Goggins, people wouldn't care if he was still fat. People don't care. They want to see you win, and then they can hear you. It's like in the community, someone just asked a question. What do I do now that I see all these negative people around me, right? Well, 2 weeks ago, you were one of those people. You were that negative person. Now you've ascended up the frequency chart. You can see it more. You're more aware of it. But you can't stop being a dictator and saying, think like this, do this, say this, meditate. Like, you can't do that. They have to join you. But first, you have to get there yourself. Second, you have to disrupt your current loop. It's really like an addiction. And I'm going to tell you about a time I did ayahuasca. And I don't know if I've mentioned it before on this channel, but I did ayahuasca, and for hours I was exhausted from what it was showing me. It was showing me all of my judgment. It was showing me all of my failures. It was showing me how critical I am of myself and others, how I always had something negative to say, and it was just incessant. My brain literally began to hurt from this loop, this addiction, this anger. It was just looping over and over and over again, until I finally said, I'm done. I'm done. Please stop. I surrender. And Mother Aya went, welcome. And I proceeded to have the most beautiful visions and the most incredible feelings of my life. Because I surrendered, I disrupted the loop, and I gave in to that moment. And I wasn't trying to perpetuate it anymore. I was done with it. I was so tired. Please take it from me. I don't want it anymore. Please take this judgment. Please take this anger. Please take this fear. I cannot bear it anymore. It's too heavy to hold. You have to want it bad enough. You have to want to disrupt the loop, so that when you are in apathy, when you are rotting, and then you see that vision of having something like Nike, or having something like a buck, or having a booming business, and you get the fuck up and try again. It doesn't matter if you failed 10 times before. It doesn't matter that 20 years ago you had no money. It doesn't matter anymore. We are in a time now where I truly, truly believe like nobody should experience poverty. There's so much abundance around us, okay? And it's not linear. It's not A to B. It's A to J to Z to C to D. Then you might get to B, or you might fall short and you have to try again and just shift it a little bit. But the whole time you're maintaining joy. You're maintaining things work out for me. You're maintaining, you know what? Things get to be easy for me. What's your identity? What are you identifying with? If I grew up, trailer trash, so I'm always going to be trailer trash, you can drop it now. It's okay. You don't have to do that anymore. You're not there anymore. It gets to be easy for you now. Regardless of even if you are still there, you can still make your way out. But you're not going to make your way out by apathy, feel sorry for me, misery, judgment, victimhood, all of that stuff. Because what's happened to you, it's valid to feel this way about what's happened to you. It's okay. You can feel that. You can feel these lower vibrations. But what you want, that life, isn't down there. So you have to make a choice. It's one or the other. Which one are you going to pick? Which one are you going to invest your time in? You have to starve the old and feed the new. So what is your new? Ultimately, you don't get what you work for. You get what you are. So how do you flip the switch? You need to stop broadcasting need. I need money. I need love. I need a relationship. You need to start broadcasting inevitability. When you walk, when you talk, however you show up, it's inevitable that it's going to happen for you. Even if you've had no fucking proof that it can. It doesn't matter what you have seen. It doesn't matter where you have been. You can decide today, just because it's inevitable that I succeed. It's inevitable that the universe wants me to win. It's inevitable that I win. That's why I constantly win. And so how do we do this? We start by having a routine, having a set routine in place. I have one in my book, which you can grab down below, join the community. And so something that I realized when I opened up this community and I looked at the average person's desires was that there were so many of them. There were like 50 different things they wanted to manifest. And what you will find is the longer the list of desires you have, the more that you are residing in lack and fear and apathy and all of those lower vibrations. Because when you truly ascend, you don't have many desires anymore. It kind of becomes a bit boring because you feel like you already have it. You're happy regardless of if you get it or not. You're okay if you don't get it because you know you'll be fine and always provided for. And so your desires decrease while your energy increases. And so really check yourself. If you have 500 things and you're living in your mum's basement, like, are you really going to get yourself out of these lower vibrations, which by the way are an addiction at this point, to go and get this new bag or to go and get this new car? It's not, I promise you, it's not that motivating. For Phil Knight, he had something he was passionate about, running, something that he thought about every day. He was focused and zoned in on one thing. And I'm not saying you can't have it all at the same time. I'm just saying, coming from a former prolific self-sabotager, I promise you, when your focus is spread across 500 things, your results are not going to be as potent as they could be if you focus on building the business, posting on social media, whatever it is that you're drawing in, as opposed to, I'm going to do dating, I'm going to do a show reel, I'm going to be on Netflix, I'm going to have a book. Like, make up your mind, because you're coming from a state of lack anyway. So to actually begin building your manifestations while building a self-concept of the type of person that always gets what they want, plus 500 other things, it's a bit more difficult, but maybe I'm projecting my limits and I don't ever want to do that. So get very focused, decide, and then move with that inevitability. Hold that vision regardless of what you see. If you ask for something and things start falling apart, thank God. Thank you for showing me what's next. Thank you for solving this problem instantly. Thank you that I am always provided for. Thank you for showing me how good it can get. Thank you for the miracles pouring into my life today. You want to keep affirming that every single thing that happens, the good, the bad, and the beautiful, are all in your favor. I look back on my journey, and when I didn't have a fucking pound to my name, I wouldn't change any of those bad times for anything. I just wouldn't. Because you jump through these hoops, you build this character that nobody can fuck with. Not in any type of way, but just like nobody can tell you when you know yourself. Nobody can tell you that you're not good enough, or oh, you're not this. When you're self-actualized, when you realize how valuable you are, when you've worked to love yourself, when you've earned the right to be confident, and someone tries, you cannot, it doesn't matter if a door gets shut in your face, you're going to climb through the window, right? Because you know it always works out in the end. It's inevitable that I win. And you cannot get that self-assurance with a single check on this planet. It doesn't matter how much the amount is. You cannot get that from a bag, from a car, from a house. You cannot get it. You have to go through these hoops. This in and out, this shaking all about, this ups and downs. But while remaining high on this frequency chart, while continuing to affirm, things always work out for me. Everything always works out for me. So I trust this video helped you manifest. Comment down below. I am always provided for the highest possible level. And I hope everyone is enjoying the community. If you bought the book, I would love to know how you're going along now. We are day 17 of the 30 days. So now you should be feeling some big shifts. I want to know everything. Comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling. And if you're in the community, you can, of course, just ask a question and we'll get back to you. We're doing lives as well. We just did our first live yesterday while I was traveling. If you weren't able to join, just remember everything is already inside of you. You don't need a book. You don't need a course. You don't need a coach. You've got it all right here, right now. So I trust this video helped you manifest. You're worthy, you're loved. I love you and thank you.